This is the story of how an evocative museum brought a D-Day veteran back to life. Creating a new public space on Southsea's historic seafront. "7 years in the making" by the D-Day story at the National Museum of the Royal Navy. "800 tank landing craft hit the Normandy beaches in June 1944, spearheading the assault on Hitler's Atlantic Wall. The beginning of the end of the agony of Europe. This is how the sole British survivor ended up, sunk into Merseyside mud. Landing craft tank LCT 7074 was a sorry, rusty sight. But then the National Museum of the Royal Navy and D-Day story came to the rescue, bringing her 500 nautical miles south to Portsmouth Naval Dockyard. Here, a giant cleanup and restoration swung into action to bring 7074 back to her future, looking just as she did in 1944. Painstaking study and research into ship and crew were midwives to 7074's rebirth, to become again a proud Royal Navy LCT. Award-winning attention to detail, taking her back to June 1944. So 7 years on from her rescue, LCT 7074 is on her last journey. Months of planning by scores of engineers and technical staff pay off, as fingertip control guides her to the D-Day Story Museum and a warm welcome from the people of Portsmouth and Southsea. Home is the sailor, home from the sea.
The LCT has added a completely different dimension, and I think it brings the story of D-Day to life in a completely different way. That the scale of the ship gives visitors a real opportunity to experience what it was like.
I think it's been absolutely brilliant. I've walked past so many times, I didn't know what it was all about. Now I've been on board, staff are great, I've looked around, it's all been brought to life.
I think it's amazing, actually. You can't believe what it was like, what it would have been like in those days to have been on one of these craft.
I think it's excellent. It's well laid out. Everything's easy for someone like me even to understand, and the staff are all pleasant.
This house shall perform on shore the bombers make. Oh, she's waterproof, all right.
It's really important. It's an important part of British history. And the soldiers who sacrifice for this country, we can never forget them.
Most of all, it gives people the opportunity to be really close to really understand what it was actually like, to stand on board and to imagine what it must have been like during D-Day.
I had the feeling of all the lads waiting to go ashore and we'd never know whether they're coming back. I felt sorry for them.
One can really feel for those, especially those that never made it home again. And that brings it home immediately, you know, seeing straight out there.
The horror, I think it sort of makes it real, that the terror and the fear.
The human stories behind it are what brings it to life. From outside, it does look quite basic and plain, but once you get on board, it really isn't. There's a lot of human stories on board.
Very good preservation. Yeah, I think in Japan there's no ships used in the Second World War.
We appreciate for that, our soldier for that. Thank you for that.
Everyone that walks past, you kind of see people stop, look up, smile, ask about what it is, where it comes from. So yeah, it's been fantastic and a fantastic addition to Southsea as well.
It's quite cool, isn't it? It's quite big and in your face.
Yeah, definitely catches like your attention when you're walking past and stuff. Yeah, it makes you wonder like, ooh, what's in there?
And I'm glad it's here for everybody to see and years to come.
Now, this unique D-Day veteran will be on show 24/7 with 360-degree visibility. A complete and rich visit for all who come aboard. By her sheer presence, visible from afar, LCT 7074 transforms access to history and heritage. She'll be enjoyed by new audiences and countless seafront visitors, and delivered on into the future by the creative and committed D-Day story team. With LCT 7074, you don't just discover Britain's wartime history, you come on board and stand inside it.